Welcome to D-Mop Garage. We are back on the single cab barn door again, and hopefully in this episode we get more progress done. I've been sort of trying to get that thing finished, but we've got to try and balance the two at the same time, so yeah, it's hard work. Anyway, today we're going to get some paint in the treasure chest area. We've got some grey primer. We've just got to clean it, give it a quick Scotch Brite and wax and grease remover, and then we can give it a coat of paint. It's actually crappy weather outside, raining off and on. I was going to just roll it outside and paint it out there, but I'm just going to do it in here. I'm sick and tired of the weather not playing ball. Anyway, we will get it done today, so we're just going to do a coat of grey factory colour inside here. Now, this section is body colour, so once we get to here, that's it. We don't go any further past that. So now one more thing I have to do before we put the colour on is I've got to make some little dividers here. There's just another little piece of sheet metal that goes from here on both sides of the mud guards there. So we'll get those done first, and then we can get some paint. Once we've got the paint inside, then all the ribs can get welded on, and then we can quickly give them a coat of grey, and then once they're done, the top floor goes on. And then that's pretty much the well, a little bit more fabrication inside here. Yeah, these little parts here have to go on. And then the back goes on here, and honky-dory, we're looking good. Yeah, so let's get some sheet metal folded up and made into those little panels. There's one that I folded up already, and I'll show you where that goes. Now, either side is slightly different, so this one here lives in like that, and that's how it's going to get welded in. And we've got to make another one now for the other side, so just the contour is slightly different on this section here, so we'll just basically cut it out. We'll get it similar to that one anyway. I'll just start chopping it out, and we'll just have to do a little fandangling with the flap disc to trial and error, but we've got our scribe lines here, so I'll quickly chop that out and start bending her up. Perfect. Right, so now all we've got to do is fold up the top lip down and then trim the bottom. So we can do that right now. Right, we'll go and take it over to here and see what has to happen. Okay, let's have a look and see how this fits now. So we're a little bit, okay, got to trim a little bit off the bottom here, just to get it nice and tight. Okay, so you can see we have both pieces ready to go, and I've punched a couple of little holes so we can plug weld them just in here. You can see there, both sides. So we'll get those both welded in, and then we can start preparing for paint. Okay, so I did a little bit of painting just on these ribs here, only for the sections that you're going to see. So once you're looking inside here, you can basically look up and you'll be able to see all grey up in those, if you're ever really that low. But anyway, that bit's done. We've got to basically weld these ribs in now, and then the next thing will be painting the bottom sides of all the floor pieces, because obviously if they're painted now, it's going to be a lot easier than having to dick around and do it later. I've also done the dividers, so these have been painted as well, and also the backs of the treasure chest doors, because they've got to be in the factory grey too. So they've all done, just did them off camera. We've got sunshine now. This is crazy weather. 1 minute it's raining, the next minute it's sunny. Anyway, all right, we'll set up and yeah, get these things welded in. Let's get cracking. I'm basically just tack welding them for now, and then we'll go back and fully weld them later on with the TIG. So I've decided we're going to have to paint the underneath of these 4 panels. So I didn't want to paint them and then have to go and drill the 1,000,001 holes. So I've just quickly put them up on top, and I've lined up where all my rods or girders are going to be, where we have to do the welding, the plug welding. So I've just made some marks on top. You can see dot, 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 dot. There's going to be a lot of them. So I'll take each sheet off now and just draw a line straight across from one to the other, and then I can, you've literally got to come across here and put a spot on every one. There's going to be a lot of holes we've got to drill. So I've just set up all the racks out here so that we can do all the drilling out here and not get any swarf underneath inside here where it's all nicely painted. So yeah, we'll go and take these out and get them done. Righto, so we've just got to take off a bit of these paint with the air file, because I don't like welding onto the weld through primer. I'd rather have bare metal on bare metal, just get a better weld. So we've just got to grind it all off. More torture, but got to do it. Right, okay, so we're going to get this thing ready for welding. Yeah, there's a lot to it. There is a lot to it. I've got to get up on top. You need to be putting downward pressure on every weld to make sure that they stick properly. And yeah, this is going to take a long time. So let's get into it. Okay, that's one panel done. I think what we'll do now is continue on this front section and then go on to the back two panels so we can get these two stitched together. So I'll come off on the end there and start in the corner. Okay guys, well, it's grinding back all the welds now, so let the fun begin. Man, was that a lot of work. A little tip for you guys that are going to be grinding, and this is just me trial and error from doing these grinds. If you use the flap disc in a cross hatch like you would be sanding a panel going, 45, 45, well, if you actually grab the grinder and sand on a 45 and then come back and sand on another 45, you'll end up with a really nice dead flat weld, and it won't take long to get it, perfectly flat. So if you just stay on one angle, you don't tend to flatten it as easy. So these ones need a little bit more work, so I had to change angle, and I've also got to just re-weld a couple of spots because there's a few little craters in a couple of these welds that they'll show up once it's painted. But yeah, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of grinding, but you got to do it. These flap discs work really well. The Smith & Arrow ones, again, I'm not sure if you can get them in any other parts of the world. I think they are Australian made, but they just, one disc did all this, and it still had a heap of material still on it, but I just wanted the larger size. That's why I changed over. You can see here, that's that one I used, and there's still tons of material on it, but it just starts to round on the edge here, and then it's not as effective to getting in those little nooks and crannies. Okay, so all this is done. We're going to go back over each one of these welds just with the Viber with an 80 grit pad on it, just to get rid of the grind marks. But apart from that, it's good. We're changing our attention now to these seat stays that go behind the back of the seat. That one obviously has seen better days. I know how to cut the bottom part off it. So we're going to weld this little piece onto here and then do the folds and get it done. So in the sandblaster, we'll clean this up and then we can get it welded. Okay, so we've got that one all repaired up, welded up, and let's get it welded into position. It basically lives right here, and it's just a bit of a back rest for the back part of the seat. So I've just ground back the metal underneath, and we're just going to plug weld it pretty much right there. Okay, we'll head over to the other side and get that one welded in.
Two hours later.
Righto guys, so one of the next things we're going to do is this. And this one's already been done. You can see we had to modify the opening for the Barndoor style tail light that we've got to put on, and the reflector. And of course this part here comes courtesy of Stefan. He graciously donated these, and that's what he's made with the 3D printer. And I will put up a couple of pictures of how he made this, which is very, very interesting. That's basically going to get grafted in right here like that, like so. And yeah, pretty damn cool. And this is his company right there. That is the one, Helmet Build. So we are going to get this grafted in. What we'll do now is this is just clecoed on, so we'll take it off, put it up here on the top of the single cab, and we can weld this hole up and then drill our hole and weld the two parts in. So let's get cracking. So first things first, we're just going to grind off this little area here just so that we've got an oval shape to deal with. So we'll just put the power file on that and grind it out. We'll chop this out. Over to the linisher and we'll just clean up the edges. Alright, so we just cleaned it up a bit. Let's see if it fits. A little bit of a gap, of course. Okay, let's set up the welder and we'll tack this all in. Alright, we've got our little butt clamp welds just to hold it in position, but this is going to be a pain in the neck to put them in. Let's see how I go, because they're just difficult trying to do it blind from behind, and yeah, see, ain't going to happen. Let's just try and hold it and I'll tack it. If you don't get it perfect straight away, you're screwed. Okay, we've got a perfect spot right there. The rest of it's gapped nicely. Let's chuck a tack in right here quickly. And on the other side. That's a bit high. 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 We can probably just push this down and do it. Or we can use the clamp. Why not, eh? Might be a bit tight there actually. That's better. We can remove that. Beautiful. Righto, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to just quickly cool that down. And then we're going to just flap this back. Not all the way, just a little bit, and then hammer and dolly it to get the tension out, and then we can do the rest of it. Perfectly level still, so we've got no warpage going on. Now we can continue. Now I could just go and TIG weld this as well. That will introduce a lot more heat into the panel, so you've got to be a lot more careful to stop it warping. You do get a softer weld with the TIG torch as well, but I did the other one with the MIG and it came out perfect. So this is quicker, so we're going with quick. And less gas too, and gas is becoming expensive, so we don't want to use too much gas. So once you get to this stage where you can't see the little tiny gaps, grind it back, put a torch or a flashlight behind it, and you'll see the cracks and the light coming through. Then you can just plug the rest of it up. But I don't want to add, you don't want to start warping the panel now, so keep it cold, flap it back now, and continue. So that is just with the 40 grit flapper wheel. Now we're going to transfer over to the 80 grit on the Viber, and you'll see the difference in the finish on it. Again, still a bit hot. Got to keep it cool. You've got to keep it cool between grinds. And you can see what that does just by putting the 80 grit on it. You can see all those slight little lows. Just keep going around those with the hammer and dolly and you can pull them up. Keep sanding it and then you'll end up with it looking good.
2,000 years later.
All right, so now that we've got this done, and it's pretty good. I mean, look, you're going to still be putting a skim coat of filler over it, but we can now go and cut our hole in it to marry up the other side like that. So let's get that done. It's hole drilling time. I've got my hole saw here. I'm just putting a bit of lubrication on it because they need to be lubricated, and earmuffs because it's going to be loud. That's the way you do it. Now I just use one of these little deburrers because that's going to be sharp as hell, so just run this inside it. Right, done. Now the next thing we've got to do is put on the reflector little section that Stefan made for me, and what we're going to do is cut these wings off. But before we do that, we're going to get it into position first, scribe it in there, and then we can cut that section out. So first things first, we get the scribe, which I've got right here, and we're going to place it in its position. And of course, because it's been precision made, it fits perfectly. You can see it actually hugs this contour right on the money. So, and we know that that little flap has to go where on the edge here. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to trim this down because we don't need obviously all this metal here. So we'll just cut it across here, cut it across here, and cut the wings off too. So we'll get that done. Okay, we'll put this up on the top and weld her in. Okay, so we've got this bottom part welded in. We'll just grind it back and flap it back and yeah, call it good, and then we can get these quarters ready to weld on for the final time. All right, let's grind away. Okay, guys, so there is that one finito as well. We will start to get these sections now ready to weld in. A little bit of tomfoolery and shenanigans to do inside here. But yeah, we'll just get that all sorted out and get these rear quarters in, and we can continue from there. Okay guys, so a little bit more progress just off camera. Obviously we've got these clee code into position. I have welded the D pillar, which is this internal part here, and I've got that welded in. Now, I had one of our viewers, Troy from up in Queensland, and he's running that combi guy, and he graciously donated all these BBT parts, and he's got a very keen eye because I had totally forgot to order these parts here, which actually run inside there like that. There's one there, and also the engine stay mechanism, which runs in here. And of course I need another 2 of these because I've got the 2 treasure chests on either side, and he gave us 2 of those as well. So what a legend. And you can go and check him out on Instagram and I think on Facebook as well. So thanks, Troy, for all this stuff, because we're literally going to be welding them in right now. So this thing still needs a lot of work. You can see there's a lot of holes through the top of it. We haven't got to repairing that yet. I've got some sheet metal down there that I went and got. These parts are next. We've got to get these welded in now, because these are going to stop these from moving in or out, So that's why I've gone and put the lid back on to make sure our lines are going to be matching up. So we will get these prepared for welding. One thing with the BBT, this weld-through primer they put on, it's a bit funny with my welder. I find I just grind it off. It's just easier you get a better weld and you're not getting any weird porosity going on, and so yeah, I just figured we'll grind off where we need to weld these on. That's the wrong side. That's this side here. They go like that, basically. So we'll get these plug welded in right now and continue. Now, what's going on? What? What's going on? What's going on? What, you don't... Excuse me, that's my cardboard. That's my cardboard. You can't eat that. You want chicken man, don't you? Chicken man. Who's there? Who's there? Get him! Get him! Get him! 360, 360, 360, 360, 360. Go, go, go. 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 Okay. Off you go, lunatic. Okay, so you can see we pretty much have got this all buttoned up, apart from doing all the welding repairs, but I've added our little gussets inside. Everything is welded internally as well. So that's all done, and we've got a nice gap on the door as well. So happy with that. We've got to still peen over this lip here. That has to go all the way around the whole thing. So we'll do that on another day. It's starting to get dark and I'm done. I just wanted to try and get the rest of this buttoned up and get the rear quarters welded in, and that's a good 8-hour job today. I've been in here. I'm tired. See you later, guys. I'll see you in another episode on the 54 Barndoor, and stay funky.